And welcome to Under Review. Usually, this is a show that I talk about Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national sports headlines as well, except for Jen, as you know her from Three Chicks and a Pot and Chicks and Salsa. We get to do something.
And put it,
She's
spin
a,
it inside the pigskin and produce on occasion with basket bros, just a couple.
So yeah, but we got to do something really, really cool. I mean, not a lot of people get this opportunity, and we went to Super Bowl Media Day, Radio Row, and all that. But I want to say congratulations to Kerry Johnson first and foremost. Her Chiefs won, and it's hard for me as a Broncos fan, but you know what? It was a good game. I just didn't like the ending, but that's not anything that has to do with the Chiefs. That has to do with the referees. Chiefs definitely earned it.
Bradbury admitted he did the holding. And I mean, it was more flagrant than just grabbing his. I mean, he grabbed his arm too. Like more of it shots have come out from that too.
It was a holding, but I mean, I was just surprised they called it just because they hadn't called it all game. But the thing is, though, still congratulations to the Chiefs. You deserved it. You obviously won the game. No controversy.
Right.
So, and I think Carrie, didn't she go to the parade yesterday, or was that the day
before?
Did,
and you can check out some of her photos on her page, her Facebook page, which is public. And I don't know, Carrie, if you're listening, I'm not sure if you put them on Three Chicks in a Pod or not Facebook page, but if not, I'll share them to there too.
So let's go to Media Row. I mean, it was an interesting experience. I mean, I had fun. I mean, I got a little bit starstruck with some of the people that we saw. I mean, I saw Shannon Sharp. I mean, I didn't say anything to him, but I just saw him, and I was like, "Oh, that's Shannon Sharp." And of course, I think I was this close to getting a picture with Larry Fitzgerald, who really helped us out a lot here on the Sideline Sports Network at the Super Bowl. Him and I went up to what was it, the NFL Experience, and he was just sitting there talking. I was like, "Oh, I'll get a picture." Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that. He just looked at me, and then his publicist said, "Oh, we got to go." I mean, I thought it was cool anyway to be in the presence of Larry Fitzgerald anyway.
Yeah, I mean, wait, you went up there with Shannon Sharp?
I just saw Shannon. I went up there with Fago. Went up to
okay. I was like, wait, what? And Fago's our friend from New Stitched Media. He's been a great ally to not only Jordan and myself, but to a lot of people. Like we are like Sideline Sports and New Stitched Media cooperate a lot together. So, no, like honestly, it was exciting. I kind of fangirled out a little bit over at and Lisa, and I also got a little fangirled out, or maybe a lot, over Andrew Zimmern. But I told him beforehand, I was like, I'm going to try not to fangirl out on you. I don't know how much I can promise. And so, I don't know. It was just such an exciting event. And it was both of our first times. I believe it was your first time as well. And just the context we made, the people we met, going to Taste of the NFL. Like, I don't know, like when you asked me to come down and discuss like who my favorite people were that we interviewed, and I don't know.
You had a blast. I mean, so did I.
My voice is still recovering, dude.
I think for me, I mean, granted, I didn't interview him. I do have personal email. Ed McCaffrey. I mean, he's a guy that I grew up watching, and it was just like, oh my goodness, there's Ed McCaffrey. I didn't realize how tall he was compared to me, but to actually sit there and have a few conversations with him, just say, "Hey, can you do an interview?" Oh yeah, I'll do it in a moment. I mean, it was just really cool. Guy I lived up to, was really nice to just say hi and know who sort of I was when I came up to him and said, "Oh, did we do an interview?" I'm like, we didn't do it this day, but why don't we do it another day? I mean, just really, really a nice guy. I mean, I like when professional athletes are actually nice, but his son obviously played for your Panthers and went to the 49ers. Great guy. At least what I've heard Lisa and Ed have raised, their three boys correctly.
Right. I mean, honestly, I met Christian one night when I lived uptown. A lot of my former neighbors used to be Panthers players, and he had been visiting one of the guys, and he held the door open for me while I was taking my dog out. And Just like, I mean, I know it was only like a 5-second interaction, but he was super nice to me. I did not fangirl out on him because it was like he's visiting his friends, like he's in a residential area. That was just always my mentality. Like I struggled during Radio Row, and you know this, Jordan, because I had trained myself so much not to like. There was literally only one Panther player that I ever fangirled out on, and that's because he was a wiseacre, just like I am. And so and that was Alex Arba. And then, yeah, so obviously he's not with the Panthers anymore. He's with the Commanders now. But yeah, so I don't know, like I struggled with like recognizing people without their jersey numbers on.
I hear you. It was really difficult. I know you were like, oh, who's that? I'm like, I have no idea who that is. I mean, of course, like the guys that I recognized was, Alfred Williams. I kind of got a little starstruck just because, again, I didn't get an interview with him because he was busy doing his own radio show, but at least I went up and said hi to him. I mean, exactly. Alfred to me, was part of the Broncos 2 championships in 1998 and 1999. And then, of course, he's been on the radio for years. So I kind of geeked out and said, I've listened to you a long time.
I think he had 3 championships in the 90s. Am I wrong?
I think he had 2 because he only played for the Broncos. There are a few ex-Broncos, like Bill Romanowski, I know has 3. I was looking for him. I never.
I thought Ed McCaffrey had 3 rings.
He has 2.
Are you sure?
He barely. I believe he has 2. He might have 3. 2 or 3. I know he was on the Broncos 2 championship teams.
Now that I don't believe you, I swear I read 3, but I love proving myself wrong on air because it's always awesome.
I want to say he, you know what? I know he played for the 49ers, but did he leave before they won? That's the one question. I thought it was 2. It might have been 3, but either way, I mean, he has.
Oh, okay. He won 3 Super Bowl rings.
There you go.
49ers. And go ahead.
2 with the Broncos. Okay, that makes sense. So
1 is a 49er, 2 with the Broncos. Yeah, you were right.
So that makes a whole lot of sense. But even so, I mean, I have to say, granted, probably my favorite part of the whole experience was the cool things we got to do. I mean, we went to the Rihanna press conference. How many people can say they did that? And the funny thing is,
how did I miss she was pregnant?
Yeah, I didn't know.
The picture he took. How did I miss that?
Well, in your defense, she was wearing baggy clothes, so you couldn't tell.
Keep going. Sorry, Jordan.
Oh, you're good. I mean, I was just going to point out that, even Fago, I think, posted on his Facebook or Instagram, 300 media members were there listening to, the signers, the, Blake Shelton. I'm sorry. The guy who did the national anthem. Chris Stapleton. Thank you. I was like, I know why Blake Shelton's in my head. I went to a hockey game last night, and he's actually going to perform there. So I got him and Chris Stapleton confused. And then to see, Rihanna was just like, we learned a lot about her, how her stardom from Barbados to coming here. I didn't realize she was a billionaire. That's the one thing I learned through that whole experience.
Yeah, she's a total billionaire. I'm not going to lie. I actually have one of her bathrobes.
There you go.
It's comfy. It has a little hood on it.
And then I thought the other thing that personally I got to do is I went up to Jay Glazer, huge NFL insider, and just asked him. I mean, I was there. Granted, I should have been a little more assertive trying to get my question out, but you know what? I waited until a lot of people left and actually asked him a question about the Broncos. Gave me a pretty good answer, but it's just like Jay Glazer actually answered my question. How cool is that?
Right. You mean I was stoked because on top of what we did together, I was fortunate enough to get to go to the Rolling Stone concert, the Rolling Stone party, Taste of the NFL, the Adidas event, the Puma event. I mean, I've got to give the ladies a shout out. Thank you, Amber and Brittany, Amber Billups and Brittany McCrae. They both do some great work and have their Amber has her own publication as well. And I was fortunate because I got to meet like 2 of my local heroes, Sheena Quick and Vishanti, the owner of Keep Blitzin', 2 female leaders here in the Charlotte area who are, great sports commentators on social media and Twitter. They get to go to like all of the Panthers stuff. And so they were both like covering the Super Bowl down on the field. I saw photos. It was pretty, like, for me, it was amazing. I got to meet Andrew Zimmern, Marianne Cothram, Maureen, like Lisa McCaffrey. I mean, I love talking to Lisa McCaffrey and Ashley Adamson. And I had a great conversation with Christina Pink, and I lost that interview. I thought I had found it, and I had not. So Christina Pink, I'm really sorry because I thought it was a great interview. I got to ask Greg Olson some questions. Aaron Andrews, like, it was just, I mean, I busted my butt. You busted your butt. We
did.
We had fun. It was an exhilarating time, and I know I can't wait to go back again next year.
It's going to be bigger and better than Vegas. But the one event that we got to cover that I really enjoyed, I mean, granted, I didn't ask a lot of questions, was actually the women's sports empowerment brunch. It was so cool to see like these women, because, getting into sports in general as a lady is really hard to get into. I mean, I want to see more women in front offices and in, as reporters, but to see all these women who have, some of them, I mean, what was it? The one lady from the Raiders who's the president of the I want to say Oakland, but they're Las Vegas Raiders. One lady who works for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I want to see more women in these, sports. I want to see, I don't know how many GMs we have that are women. I'd like to see that. That's some of the questions I would have liked to ask, like how do, women, there isn't a lot, it's still a man's game. How do women get up there? But honestly, a woman can do exactly what a man can do in sports, covering it or even being a general manager or president. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, we've seen definitely with the refereeing in the NFL, we have 2 women referees. I think they're doing a great job. I know there was a lot of controversy about them getting in. I'm just like, who cares? If they can make the right calls, I don't care if it's a man or a woman.
Pretty sure the women have made better calls than most of the men, just saying.
Unfortunately, that's probably right. But you know me, I complain about referees in all sports.
I mean, let's be honest, like human error exists and it occurs. However, it's just, I don't know. We both see things that should or should not be called all the time. We're not on the field. I'm sorry. I'm still tired from last week.
We are both trying to recover. Plus, you had to go to work this week. You didn't have a chance to really recover.
I wish I could say that, I think it's difficult for anyone to get into the C-suites. I do think that women are always going to have to bust their butts harder.
I completely agree.
Kind of sucks, but you know what? We're used to it. I mean, it stinks that we have to say that. But, Sandra Morgan, she's the president of the Raiders. What a champ, man. I forgot my question. I need to find my question that I posted to her. I'll put it on my Facebook page and tag you, of course, as I have all week. But yeah, it was so cool. The sportswoman empowerment. I was a little disappointed I didn't get ask Asia a question, but that's okay. We both got to speak to Jake from State Farm. I was a little sad that they did not do the mustache on Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't even see any State Farm commercials during the Super Bowl. I was a little disappointed. I thought when we were talking to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, we have an idea," and it just never came that way. I was just like, "Where's this commercial?" I mean, granted, I didn't watch the Super Bowl just for that, but it was like, what if there's going to be a State Farm? But obviously,
let's say so, Jordan. Everybody watches the Super Bowl for commercials in the halftime show. If you're not into football.
That's true. I will agree with that. And
I will say I kind of miss the football, like the commercials from the Super Bowl from like the 80s to like the early 2000s. I just feel like they were a little better. Their acting was a little better. It was a little more comical. It wasn't so much graphic design and all that, which is great and impressive, but Give me where's the beef? Give me like Mackenzie. Give me like those things that were funny. Like that's just me.
I hear you. I hear you. But I will say, probably the one guy I got to interview that I thought was really, really cool was Ryan Harris.
Yeah.
I didn't geek out as much, and I know I got a little nervous at the start, but you know what? That's because I was talking to a Super Bowl 50 champion. Not trying to, have that memory for you, but it was still
I
cool.
Gotta go.
But I mean, it was still cool to sit there with Ryan Harris. I know the guy is now into broadcasting, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And the thing that I felt bad for Ryan,
I was a Panthers fan because he never texted me back.
I don't know. I think honestly,
did he not want this smoke? I mean, I'm just saying.
I think he had a lot going on his plate because he was doing his own media for.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I know you are. But the thing that I felt really bad for Ryan, the guy's 6'6". I'm 5'. I tried to look at him, try to have eye contact. All I saw was his ring. I was just like, all right, I guess I'm not going to have eye contact with him. But hopefully Eric Wilson will have that interview up because it's a really good interview with his take on, football and what he felt. And I agreed with him going into the game is how this game was going to play out. And he was correct. They're both ball control teams.
Yeah.
And we saw that, but I really enjoyed that. Also, I thought the one funny moment that we had was the Eagles player, can't remember his name, that you interviewed that wanted me to actually talk to your dad.
Charlie Young. I love Charlie.
Yeah.
You need to give him a call this weekend. He's a good man.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know who Charlie Young is, y'all need to look him up. His name is spelled Charle, no I. Young, spelled traditionally. We became friends.
And that's what you want to
say that. Like, we just had an instant connection. You saw it, Jordan. Like, just two friends.
It really was. I mean, that definitely how it felt when he was like, "Oh, give me the phone. I'm going to talk to you down." I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just snap a photo of this. But that's what you want to see. I ended up getting a connection too. I mean, besides Eddie McCaffrey, there's a guy, not to promote their radio station, but Altitude Sports in Denver. There's a guy that I listen to constantly, Josh Dover, who's, I want to say he's on from 12 to 3. They changed their the time around a little bit. But the thing that I got a little starstruck with him, but I was looking because, I've only seen pictures of Josh Dover. I'm looking at Twitch going, is that Josh Dover? Is that Josh Dover? I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go over. And it was Josh Dover. I connected to him on Facebook. Now I got another connection in the radio business in Colorado. If I ever need, hey, can I get an interview with, such and such? Maybe he can lead me the way on how to get those interviews if I need him, or even interview him. He has a very interesting story because he didn't start out as a broadcaster. I want to say he was a plumber and then went to like media school and was like, yeah, I want to do radio. So his story is very interesting. So if I can get a hold of him, which I now have his Facebook, I will text him or I guess message him sometime and say, hey, can you come on so we can talk about, your story about how and about media and, what sports you like and all that. He's a huge Indiana Hoosiers basketball fan. That's the only problem with him.
Right. I'm sorry, Jordan. I've been working today too. I'm not trying to yawn at you.
You're good. I mean, it's a long day for you, and I'm just happy that we were able to talk about it.
Me too. Yeah, like I'm thinking, like everybody we talked to, it was amazing. Like at the Taste of the NFL, I was able to talk to a lot of the chefs.
Some of the food looked really good that you posted. I will say that.
Yeah, I'm not done posting yet. I've got a lot. My our Sage CEO, Eric Wilson, was like, just post one or two things a day. He was like, that way, you have that content. So the fun is for me to remember. So I'm trying to do the videos first. And then I figured I'll just do a bunch of photos with some descriptions. So.
For sure. So let's talk about next year's Super Bowl. How bigger and better do you think Radio Row is going to be? I mean, it's Vegas. All the parties are going to be bigger and better. I mean, I just can't imagine what that's going to look like. I would assume there would be more media. I'm not even sure where they would actually do.
No, because I think this one actually had the highest number of views in Super Bowl history. But I mean, they totally went worldwide also. Like I was seeing pictures from the NFL. I don't know if you saw these from the NFL communications, but people like in Germany watching and watch parties, things like that everywhere. I mean, I don't know how much bigger it'll get. I know I will be applying for my credentials very early. So yeah.
That's something I learned. Unfortunately, I was only there for 3 days, but that's because I didn't get the credential, early enough. I think next year, if I am lucky enough to go, because who knows how expensive it's going to be. I would love to go to Vegas and say, yes, I've covered this Super Bowl, especially, be with you and hopefully all the other three chicks in a pot if we can get all of them. I mean, it'd be fun.
I loved it when Tori Smith asked me, we were taking, he gave me permission to take a selfie. He didn't have time for it to answer any questions. But he was like, so are the other chicks here? And I was like, no, not this time. And he was like, that's okay. So, I mean, I might like talk to the girls in a couple of weeks and just see. I'm going to talk to them obviously more than that. We talk daily. But talk to them and see if they want me to try to DM him to see if he'd be willing to come on our show.
I mean, you got a lot of good guests that you could have come on.
Oh, yeah. Show. Like Lisa and Ashley both said they'd come on. I've got Kimberly Brown. She said she'd come on. That's Jim Brown's daughter. I had a great interview with her. She's amazing. Then, I mean, so many people like Anne-Marie Cawthron, Maureen, they all said that they would come back on our show too. So like we've got a lot of potential guests lined up. And I'm just excited and stoked about it.
The one thing that you told me, which I thought was really amazing, was Howie Long's wife watches. It's just like you never know who's watching.
I know. I was so excited about that. I meant to say something about that earlier. Yeah, like when she's like, "You're three chicks. You're one of the three chicks," and it was like, "Yes." She's like, "You're the one that threatens to meet your friend all the time." And I was like, "Yes."
That sounds like you. I mean, I think honestly, if
it's a good thing Carrie doesn't know she can mute me too, because she really can.
I do think had Carrie gone, I think she would have had a blast. I mean, she would have been covering her Chiefs. That would have been the cool thing. I mean, I know we had a couple Eagles fans, and well, obviously Fago's an Eagles fan, but then we had Eric
so
Wilson.
Your guy from the Gauntlet, Mr. James Tatum.
It was really a blast to actually see them so excited for the Super Bowl. I'm just like, okay, I'm just here for the media, because personally, for me, I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I know I'm a Broncos fan and I wanted Kansas City to go down, but in the end, do I care that they won? No, I just have to hear Carrie celebrate it. And honestly, I was gracious with her. I said, congratulations. They deserved it. So
Carrie wasn't bad. Carrie's got a lot going on. She's happy. Plus, like, because her fiance is an Eagles fan, like her celebration was a little muted. But you know what? She and Colby went to the parade. Colby's her son. I mean, Carrie needed that one,
She really did. I mean, hats off to Carrie. I mean, I know I don't get along with her team, but I can't say that they didn't
get along with Carrie, so that's what's important. And it's okay, because I understand I don't get along with the Atlanta Falcons or the New Orleans Saints.
I hear you. Well, it would be, honestly, what would have been worse is had the Raiders won it, because that's the team that I more despise. And that just because I'm a huge Bronco fan. And, the Raiders have always been the evil empire to me. I could say that's about the Patriots, but Chiefs, honestly, I like it.
About the Cowboys. Sorry, Megan, love you.
Well, I don't like the Cowboys either, as much as I love Megan. And I think, Michael, who does our Pac-12 show, he's also a Cowboys fan. I know him and I weren't going to get along. I also thought what was really fun is we finally got to meet everybody on sideline, because
my dogs just heard your dogs and they're running outside to go find them now.
Awesome. The thing that I also enjoyed, and I was glad to see JB Ellis, John, Eric Wilson.
So happy to meet everybody face to face, but JB, as much as I love you, I'm never ever having that chocolate cake shake again. Like literally, Jordan, I'm a chunky chick. Okay. I like my milkshakes. That one literally went down as I kept drinking it.
I'm glad I didn't have that experience. If you don't know who we're talking about, they're not a sponsor, but it's Portillo's.
Don't say the name, because I'm not talking smack about their thing.
It's not talking smack. It's Portillo's, and
They have
honestly,
great Italian beef and good fries.
they really do. The Italian beef is amazing. But I also thought, I mean, unfortunately, you came a little bit late to a Top Golf. I've never been to a Top Golf. I can tell you, Michael was really making fun of me because I was hitting the ball straight. I didn't like where I was hitting it. He's like, dude, if you were hitting it that way, I would be throwing beers. I'm like, I know, but I wanted to go that way. And then, of course, we got to meet Troy from, I forget his show.
Yes. Troy was great. His entire family, Lisa and his daughter, just amazing. His business partner, like his podcast partner, was there.
Well, yeah. Well, it was very interesting. I mean, because Rudy was there. I mean, we see just these guys on Twitter or promoting their shows.
Shout out to Rudy. Thank you for getting me credentialed, my friend. Thank you so much.
Rudy was a big help to you, big help to us. I mean, but all in all, it was fun. So looking at next year, I know we've talked about it. What are you most excited for next year, if we're lucky enough to go?
Honestly, next year my goal is to actually cover the game.
You know who else? I think Troy got to cover the game this year. I was a little bit jealous. I was like, dude, I'm jealous of you. He put photos of, past Super Bowls he got to do. I'm just like, dude, I want to do that.
He's been doing this for so long, and I mean, he's got this nailed down. Like, Troy is the consummate professional. If you guys haven't watched his show, check it out. And it's like, and Troy's just a great guy. Like, he's really been an added asset to Sideline Sports, to myself, to Carrie, especially to my girl Carrie. And they I mean, and his family is just so warm and loving. Like, I might kidnap Savannah one day. I'm just saying, I know she's 16 or so, but she's a great girl.
And it was really nice of him to actually say, hey, let's do Top Golf. Let's get everyone together. I mean, we were trying to figure out how we could do that. And for those of you that haven't been to a Top Golf, it's just basically a driving range. I would say an upscale driving range with food. And basically, he was nice enough to say, hey, let's all get together. And I was appreciative. There is a picture, but for some reason, I look like I'm not smiling. I don't get it because I was actually smiling in the picture.
I have that picture too. Did I upload that? I'm going to show some of my pictures on Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern on 3 Chicks in a Pod. But so Jordan, I'll let you think about it over the weekend. If you want me to include that, I will. If you do not, I will not. But yeah, like, it was just a great experience. Like, and that was my first time at Top Golf too. And so I didn't like hit golf balls or anything like that, but I got to town late, got my rental car, went to go pick up somebody from the airport. Then we went over. But yeah, that was the first time you and I've actually met face to face, was at Top Golf. So, I mean, it was just great in my opinion.
I learned something about Top Golf on who are the actual golfers on Sideline Sports. James Saints never golfed. Gaby's barely touched a golf club. And then you saw the other ones that did. But all in all, I really enjoyed my time in Phoenix. I'm hopeful to go there next year in Las Vegas, where it's going to be bigger and better, and hopefully get into more of these parties to actually see these celebrities.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it was just fun. Like, I tried not to take, like, when I was at the Rolling Stone party, I did a lot of live, like, I did a couple of lives. I took some recordings. I don't know why, but sorry, Jordan, but I didn't want to just take videos of the celebrities, because they're out there, they're having a good time. They need to be with their friends and they need to kick back. Like, yeah, I get it, but everybody's entitled to a little me time and a little friend time.
Oh, I completely agree. That's why when I do see, like, a celebrity outside of Radio Row, it's just like, do I really want to go up to them? I don't, because they want to be with their family. That's their time.
Right. Like, I've seen Steve Smith a couple of times, like, in private, but usually he's with his family. And I'm just like, like, I had the opportunity to talk to him one night, but like, it was brief. He was laughing at me because my husband was like, be cool, be chill, be cool, be chill. And those who don't know, like, Steve Smith is my favorite Panther. So even though I am a Cam fan, Smitty is my man. So why am I doing that? Well, sorry, I was trying to send an email too. I'll stop doing that. But it was just, I don't know, it was so much fun. Everything, like the Rolling Stone party was everything I've ever imagined any Hollywood party to be. Like, it was just cool.
Well, thanks again, Jen, as you know, we do our Super Bowl experience, and tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
You can find me on 3 Chicks in a Pod on Facebook at Jen Matthews Lewis. You can find me on Reddit as Jenna Cheryl and Twitter at Jenna Cheryl, the professional fan. And I already listed off all the shows we do, but check out all of our shows on the Sideline Sports Network. Subscribe to YouTube and hit us up. Hit up my shows, especially 3 Chicks in a Pod, Chicks and Salsa. Just 3 chicks talking sports. Chicks and Salsa is a couple more chicks talking sports, but we actually know our stuff.
They really do. That's the one thing that I know people wonder, do these girls really know their stuff? They do. I mean, Megan knows her stuff, but, Queen of Hoops. Carrie knows football. Football and basketball. I mean, these women are amazing. Please go support them. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at SportsScoop1. I have a blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. I'm also part of the, South Florida Tribune, who we have partnered with on Scott's show. Sometimes it's baseball, other times it's football, usually on Tuesday nights. So see us there. And again, thank you for watching our reaction to the Super Bowl Media Day, and we will see you next time.
Yes, thank you.